Ladies, let's keep it real. No one wants to be the woman people secretly call stupid behind her back. But here's the problem. Sometimes we don't even realize when we're acting foolish. And men? Yeah, they notice. Have you ever met a woman who seems to sabotage her own life over and over again, yet never realizes it? It's frustrating to watch. She has potential, but she keeps making the same mistakes. She ignores red flags. She surrounds herself with toxic people. She makes impulsive decisions. Then, when everything falls apart, she plays the victim. But here's a harsh truth. Stupidity isn't about intelligence. It's about poor judgment, emotional immaturity, and self-destructive behaviors. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." In other words, if a woman doesn't wake up to her own toxic patterns, she will keep making the same mistakes and think she's just unlucky. She will blame men. She will blame society. She will blame everything except herself. But there are clear warning signs that separate a foolish woman from a wise one. Today we're breaking down 6 dangerous signs of a foolish woman, behaviors that hold women back from success, self-respect, and true happiness. Some of these might shock you. Some of these might remind you of someone you know. And some of these might even force you to look at yourself. Let's get straight into it. Sign number 1. She never takes accountability. A foolish woman always has an excuse for everything. Her toxic relationships. Men are trash. Her failures. The world is against me. Her bad choices. Someone misled me. She never stops to think, maybe the common denominator in all my problems is me. Instead of reflecting on her decisions and learning from them, she plays the victim in her own life. But here's the brutal truth. Life doesn't reward excuses. It rewards responsibility. Carl Jung explained that when people refuse to face their own flaws, they project them onto others. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Carl Jung. A foolish woman doesn't self-reflect. Instead, she points fingers. Imagine 2 women who go through the same painful breakup. The first woman says, "He was toxic, but I ignored the red flags. Next time I'll be wiser." She learns, she grows, she moves on stronger. The second woman says, "Men are the problem. I did nothing wrong." She changes nothing, stays bitter, and ends up in the same cycle again. Or, think of a woman who repeatedly dates toxic men. Instead of reflecting on her own judgment, she blames all men for being the problem. But if you ask her, "Why do you keep picking the same type of man?" she has no answer. Wise women recognize their mistakes and adjust. Foolish women repeat the same mistakes and blame the world. Jung would say that this is a refusal to integrate the shadow self, the part of us that makes bad decisions. Instead of facing it, she projects her problems onto others. Here's the key takeaway. If a woman never takes responsibility for her choices, she will never have control over her life. This is how to spot this in someone. They blame others for their problems. They get defensive when given constructive criticism. They repeat the same mistakes but refuse to change. A wise woman owns her actions because only then can she change her life. Sign number 2. She seeks validation from everyone. A foolish woman doesn't trust her own judgment. Instead, she relies on the opinions of others to feel good about herself. She constantly needs approval, attention, and external validation. A stupid woman looks for approval in all the wrong places. She needs constant reassurance from men who don't value her, from friends who gossip behind her back, even from strangers on social media. If she posts a selfie and doesn't get enough likes, she'll delete it. If a guy ignores her, she'll double text him, desperate for his attention. She mistakes attention for respect and popularity for worth. She can't make decisions without asking 10 different people. She changes her personality to fit in with different groups. She chases social media likes, comments, and attention because that's where she finds her worth. But here's the problem. The more you rely on others for validation, the more powerless you become. Here's the hard truth. If you're always waiting for someone else to tell you you're beautiful, smart, or worthy, you're giving away your power. A smart woman validates herself. She doesn't need a man's compliments to know she's attractive. She doesn't need her co-workers' applause to know she's talented. Her confidence comes from within. A woman who constantly seeks validation is easy to control, easy to manipulate, and easy to break. Imagine a woman who spends hours curating the perfect Instagram post. She carefully selects the right filters, poses just right, and writes a caption designed to get the most likes. When the likes start rolling in, she feels amazing, beautiful, admired, desired. But what happens when the attention stops? She spirals into self-doubt and insecurity. She starts comparing herself to other women online. She questions her own worth because she no longer has external proof that she is desirable. Stupid women turn Instagram into their personal courtroom, letting random people judge their worth. Why didn't he like my post? Why did she unfollow me? Meanwhile, smart women are too busy building real lives to care about digital applause. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Carl Jung. This is exactly what Jung warned about. When you don't have a strong sense of self, you become dependent on external forces to tell you who you are. And that makes you weak. Then there's the woman who can't say no. This is the worst of all. This type of stupid woman changes herself to fit in. She dulls her shine to make insecure people comfortable. She doesn't want to disappoint anyone. She wants to be liked by everyone. So she agrees to things she doesn't want to do, even if it drains her energy or makes her unhappy. She says yes to favors she doesn't want to do. She tolerates toxic friendships because she's afraid of being alone. She stays in relationships that aren't good for her because she fears rejection. She'll even betray her own values just to feel accepted. But here's the reality. Seeking validation from the wrong people will always leave you empty, because you can't fill a cup that has no bottom. A woman who lives for approval will always be a prisoner to other people's expectations. She will never feel free. She will never be fully happy. She will never know who she truly is, because every decision she makes is about pleasing others, not herself. A wise woman validates herself. She knows that her worth isn't determined by likes, compliments, or attention. She doesn't chase people who treat her like an option. She doesn't need the world to tell her she's enough, because she already knows. She doesn't seek approval, she approves of herself. She doesn't beg to be accepted, she accepts herself. Because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? Sign number 3. She can't control her emotions. A foolish woman is ruled by her emotions instead of mastering them. This one is dangerous because it disguises itself as passion, as just being real. But here's the truth. A stupid woman lets her emotions hijack her brain. She makes decisions based on how she feels in the moment, not on what's actually best for her. And then, she's left picking up the pieces of another self-inflicted disaster. She explodes in anger over small issues. She makes impulsive decisions based on fleeting feelings. She blames others for triggering her instead of learning emotional control. There's nothing wrong with having emotions. We all have them. But when emotions dictate every decision, they become a liability. A fool vents all their feelings, but a wise person holds them back. Proverbs 29:11. Imagine a woman who constantly lashes out at her partner, at her friends, at strangers. She gets offended easily and takes everything personally. If someone disagrees with her, she feels attacked. If things don't go her way, she has a full-blown meltdown. One moment she's happy, the next she's crying, then suddenly she's furious. This kind of emotional instability pushes people away. Friends stop calling. Relationships crumble. Even at work, people avoid her because she's unpredictable. Eventually, she becomes isolated, not because others abandoned her, but because she never learned to manage her emotions like an adult. Carl Jung once said, Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. A foolish woman sees insults everywhere. A wise woman pauses, reflects, and controls her reaction. This how it all show up. Impulsive reactions. She gets one bad text and immediately blows up his phone with paragraphs. Her man looks at another woman. Instead of handling it with class, she causes a scene. Emotionally intelligent women know reacting in anger or panic rarely solves anything. It just makes you look unstable. Self-sabotage mode. She's upset, so she quits her job on the spot. She's lonely, so she crawls back to a toxic ex. She's insecure, so she starts unnecessary drama. A stupid woman lets temporary feelings dictate permanent consequences. Meanwhile, a smart woman pauses, breathes, and asks herself, will this help me or hurt me in the long run? The victim mindset. Instead of taking responsibility, she cries, you made me do this. No, nobody makes you scream, cheat, or act reckless. That's a choice. Emotional maturity means owning your reactions, not blaming others for your outbursts. Love over logic. She stays with a cheating man because the heart wants what it wants. She ignores red flags because it feels right. Newsflash, feelings lie. A smart woman uses logic as her compass, not just her emotions. 5. She uses emotions to manipulate. She guilt trips people into giving her what she wants. She plays the victim when she's actually the problem. She expects people to read her mind instead of communicating directly. Example, instead of saying, I feel hurt when you do this, she says, if you really loved me, you would just know what I need. Why this is a major problem. Men lose respect for women who can't control their emotions. Bosses overlook her for promotions. Friends walk on eggshells around her. Emotional chaos repels success, stability, and strong relationships. A wise woman feels her emotions, but doesn't let them control her. She knows that anger, sadness, and frustration are normal, but how she responds to them defines her character. She takes a deep breath before reacting. She pauses before making a decision. She thinks logically, not just emotionally. Because at the end of the day, no one respects a woman who can't even control herself. Sign number 4. She prioritizes drama over peace. A stupid woman thrives on chaos. If she's always in some mess, fighting with friends, arguing with her man over nonsense, or creating problems where none exist, she's not passionate. She's exhausting. Smart women know when to speak up and when to walk away. But let's break this down further. She starts fights over nothing. A stupid woman turns small issues into full-blown wars. Her man didn't text back in 10 minutes. He must be cheating. Her friend didn't like her Instagram post. She's jealous. Instead of communicating, she assumes the worst and attacks first. She loves gossip and stirring the pot. Her social life revolves around drama. She's always in the middle of someone else's business, spreading rumors, or laughing at other people's downfalls. A wise woman knows gossip is a cheap thrill that always backfires. She can't let things go. Even after an argument is over, she'll bring it up weeks later just to rekindle the tension. A smart woman handles conflict, resolves it, and moves on. A stupid woman holds on to resentment like a trophy. She mistakes drama for passion. She thinks screaming matches, jealousy, and constant breakups mean the relationship is fire. No, sis, that's toxicity. Real passion doesn't require chaos. A strong woman builds love on trust and peace, not roller coaster emotions. Her life is always in turmoil. If every week there's a new crisis, family beef, workplace drama, relationship problems, it's not bad luck. It's her. Stupid women attract chaos because they feed off it. Smart women protect their peace at all costs. Why this matters? Men avoid drama-heavy women because they're emotionally draining. Friends distance themselves because they're tired of the negativity. If your life feels like a reality TV show, it's time to ask, are you the star or the fool? Sign number 5. She competes with other women instead of improving herself. A foolish woman sees other women as competition instead of inspiration. She is not focused on becoming better. She's focused on tearing others down so she can feel superior. She gossips, spreads rumors, and backstabs other women. She gets jealous when another woman succeeds. She competes for male attention instead of focusing on self-growth. She secretly enjoys seeing others fail because it makes her feel better about herself. At first, she might pretend to be supportive, but deep down she feels threatened when another woman levels up. You've seen it before. A woman gets a promotion at work, and instead of congratulating her, the foolish woman whispers, "She probably slept with the boss to get that position." A woman works hard to get in shape, and the foolish woman rolls her eyes and says, "She's so fake, always showing off at the gym." A woman posts about her achievements, and the foolish woman comments, "Ugh, she's so full of herself." But the truth is, she's not really mad at them. She's mad at herself. Carl Jung explained that people project their insecurities onto others. So when a woman constantly hates on other women, it's because deep down, she feels inadequate inside. She sees another woman's success as a reminder of her own lack of effort, self-discipline, or confidence. Here's the danger of this mindset. This is one of the most destructive behaviors a woman can have. Why? Because while she wastes her time gossiping, being bitter, and trying to bring others down, other women are growing, building, and winning. While she's busy tearing others down, a wise woman is lifting others up. While she's stuck in jealousy, a wise woman is learning from those ahead of her. While she's focused on competition, a wise woman is focused on self-improvement. What you resist not only persists but will grow in size. Carl Jung. The more a foolish woman resents another woman's success, the more miserable she becomes, because deep down, she knows she's not doing the work to improve her own life. A foolish woman sees successful women as a threat and wastes her energy on envy. A wise woman sees successful women as a blueprint and uses them as motivation. The real question is, which one are you? Sign number 6. She prioritizes looks over character. A foolish woman spends all her time trying to look good instead of becoming good. She chases luxury, status, and external validation, but ignores personal growth. She focuses on being desirable but not being valuable. She invests in appearance but not in skills, wisdom, or self-improvement. Of course, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look attractive. Self-care and presentation matter. But when a woman builds her entire identity around beauty, she is setting herself up for a painful reality. Imagine 2 women. The first woman spends hours every day perfecting her looks. She keeps up with every beauty trend, buys expensive designer brands, and her Instagram is full of flawless pictures. But when you talk to her, there's nothing beneath the surface. She has no depth, no strong opinions, no real passion, only a constant hunger for attention. The second woman also takes care of herself, but she spends just as much time investing in her mind. She reads, builds skills, learns new things, and carries herself with confidence. She isn't just beautiful, she's interesting, intelligent, and self-assured. Now fast forward 10 or 20 years. The first woman, whose whole identity was built on external beauty, starts to panic. Her looks fade. Younger women start to take the attention she used to get, and suddenly, she feels invisible. She realizes that she never built anything lasting, no skills, no wisdom, no true self-worth. The second woman, however, continues to thrive. Why? Because she built something internal, something that time can't take away. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. Carl Jung. Jung understood that true transformation happens when we look inward, not just at the surface. A woman who only focuses on her looks lives in constant fear of aging, competition, and rejection. A woman who builds character, intelligence, and strength, she commands respect no matter her age. Here are some key takeaways. Beauty fades, but wisdom, confidence and self-respect last forever. A wise woman invests in her mind, her purpose, and her personal growth. A foolish woman thinks attention equals value, but real value comes from who you are, not just how you look. Now let's move on to something even more dangerous. The one behavior that keeps a foolish woman trapped in toxic cycles. Stay with me. This next one is crucial. There's one behavior that separates a wise woman from a foolish one. One habit that keeps her stuck in the same toxic situations over and over again. It keeps her choosing the wrong men. It keeps her surrounding herself with fake friends. It keeps her blaming others instead of taking responsibility. What is it? She refuses to learn from her mistakes. A foolish woman does not self-reflect. She repeats the same patterns but expects different results. She dates the same type of toxic men but calls it bad luck. She ignores red flags in friendships, then acts shocked when she's betrayed. She makes impulsive decisions, then blames everyone else for the consequences. Carl Jung put it best: everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. In other words, the things that keep hurting you are trying to teach you something. A wise woman pays attention. A foolish woman ignores the lesson and then suffers the same pain again. Imagine a woman who constantly complains about her relationships. Every time it's the same story. Men are trash. Why do I always attract liars and cheaters? I give my heart to people and they always hurt me. But here's the real question. What choices is she making? Because if the same thing keeps happening, it's not just bad luck. It's a pattern. A wise woman would stop and ask, why do I allow toxic people into my life? What red flags did I ignore? What do I need to change about myself to break this cycle? But a foolish woman, she refuses to look inward. She convinces herself that life is just unfair, instead of realizing that she holds the power to change. And as a result, she stays trapped. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. A woman who refuses to self-reflect will keep making the same mistakes for years, even decades. She will blame fate, society, or men, instead of realizing the common denominator is herself. Now that we've broken down the traits of a foolish woman, the real question is, how do you rise above them? How do you become a woman who commands respect, attracts the right people, and lives life on her own terms? The truth is, wisdom is not something you're born with. It's something you develop through self-awareness, discipline, and action. Because the truth is, we've all fallen into some of these traps at some point. The key is learning how to break free from these patterns and build real strength, intelligence, and independence. If you want to break free from toxic cycles and step into your power, here's exactly what you need to do. Step 1. Stop seeking external validation. A foolish woman needs constant approval. She depends on others for her sense of worth. But a wise woman, she validates herself. She doesn't need likes, attention, or praise to feel valuable. She knows that her worth isn't defined by who desires her, but by who she is. She sets her own standards and refuses to lower them for anyone. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that starts when you stop shaping yourself for the approval of others and start shaping yourself for your own growth. Step 2. Learn from your past and break the pattern. If you keep making the same mistakes, it's time to face the truth. Look at your relationships. What patterns do you keep repeating? Look at your habits. What actions are keeping you stuck? Look at your beliefs. What toxic mindsets are holding you back? A wise woman doesn't ignore these things. She confronts them, learns from them, and makes conscious changes. The past doesn't define you, but refusing to learn from it does. Step 3. Build your mind, not just your looks. Your beauty will fade, but your wisdom, confidence, and intelligence, those last forever. Invest in yourself. Read, expand your mind, develop real skills. Learn to think critically. Build something of value, your career, your knowledge, your personal growth. A powerful woman isn't just admired for how she looks. She's respected for who she is. Step 4. Cut out toxicity and set boundaries. Stop entertaining low-value people. Stop giving your energy to people who drain you. Stop tolerating disrespect just to keep the peace. A wise woman protects her peace. She doesn't explain herself to people who are committed to misunderstanding her. She doesn't beg for love, attention, or approval. She chooses quality over quantity in everything: friends, relationships, and energy. Step 5. Develop self-respect and stand your ground. The most powerful thing a woman can do? Respect herself. Speak with confidence. Walk with purpose. Stand by your values. Don't let fear, loneliness, or pressure make you lower your standards. Because when you respect yourself first, the world has no choice but to follow. Becoming a wise and powerful woman isn't about perfection. It's about self-awareness and action. Stop chasing approval. Stop repeating toxic patterns. Stop living for others. Instead, invest in your mind. Set boundaries. Embody confidence and self-respect. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who decides what kind of woman you will be. So now it's time for a decision. Are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to start making changes? The choice is yours.